Hello everyone, and welcome to this allegorical understanding of Revelation 7. Now, if you have not watched my videos for the previous chapters of Revelation, I very much recommend that you do. A lot of the important words, references and phrases repeated in Revelation 7 have already been explained and transliterated in those previous videos. And I won't be going over old ground unless it's completely necessary. Now, there are also some instances where my book, The God Design, Secrets of the Mind, Body and Soul, can provide further understanding. Now, Christ exists on multiple layers: spiritual, macrocosmic, gospel in the stars, physical, the historical figure, and within the microcosm as the fluid or the substance within our human organism. Now, it would take a really long time to address these scriptures on all of these levels. Therefore, I aim to use whatever example provides the clearest interpretation, thus helping us to understand these ancient texts in a really clear and practical way. Again, my book, which is now available as an audio book as well, does address these layers in a lot more depth than the videos can allow time for. If you have seen the other Revelation videos and would like to skip this introduction, please fast forward a couple of minutes from here. Now, as usual, I would like to say that I do not profess to have all of the answers or finite answers. I have merely endeavoured to give a fair and substantiated analysis. Now, I will be using the King James Version of the Bible as a point of reference, because it is proclaimed to be the most authentic version that is widely available. Now, I do, however, believe it necessary to say that the King James Version of the Bible is not original Bible text, and that many of the Bible stories themselves are not original, but rather they are evolutions of predated tales. For example, the Sumerian Great Flood, but that does not make them any more less poignant or important. For a more detailed introduction and fair inquisition to the King James Bible, please watch the first 10 minutes of my Revelation 1 video. As to why the scriptures are written symbolically and allegorically, the Bible answers that question too. In the book of Matthew, he asks Jesus, "Why do you speak to them in parables?" And Jesus said, "Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, Hearing you will hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you will see, and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull, their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts, and turn, so that I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For assuredly I say to you that many prophets and righteous men desire to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it." So let's get started with verses 1 and 2 of Revelation 7. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay, so as described in Revelation chapter 6, by cross-referencing the King James Version with the Essene Gospel of Revelations, we found that within the Dead Sea Scrolls, the 4 angels are the angel of air, the angel of water, the angel of fire, and the angel of earth. Now, as humans, we receive life-giving light particles, scientifically known as photons, from all 4 of these angels, or indeed angles. Looking next at the 4 corners, we can see their relationship to the angels. The sun is our main source of photon energy, and it travels through 4 extremes in its orbit: east, sunrise; noon, zenith; west, sunset; and nadir, midnight. From this, it can be seen that the 4 corners are the 4 directions: north, south, east, and west, from which we receive energy all through the day and the night. Therefore, we have 4 directional currents, 4 creative elements. Now, these are said to be holding the 4 winds of the earth. Well, this is very interesting because, scientifically speaking, there are 4 forces that influence wind speed and direction, which are temperature, air pressure, centripetal acceleration, and rotation. Now, these incredible, powerful, yet intricate forces all help to maintain the Earth's livable atmosphere. Angels. There are also 4 types of wind, or air, categorized in science. You've got polar wind, tropical wind, continental wind, and maritime wind. And fascinatingly, the Zohar says, and there were 4 faces to the 4 directions of the world. They are distinguished in their appearances and are all integrated in Adam. Now, the Zohar predates the King James Bible version by at least 300 years, but again shows the integrity of these 4 beasts or angels: air, water, fire, and earth, not only in the outside environment, but also within our bodies, integrated in Adam. An alternative understanding or layer to the interpretation of this verse can be found in knowledge or gnosis teachings, where the Archangel Michael is fire, the solar energy that enters the Pingala Nadi to the right corner. And Archangel Gabriel is water, the lunar energy that enters the Ida Nadi to the left corner. Archangel Uriel is earth, the wisdom energy that enters the front corner or the 3rd corner. And Archangel Raphael is air, the love energy that enters the back or the 4th corner, the thymus at the back of the heart. Furthermore, there are 4 archivists of karma, 4 Devarajas, and 4 heavenly guardians at the entrance to the Buddhist temples, and the parallels between Buddhism into influencing Christianity have been proved dozens of times. The sacred name of God, also known as the Tetragrammaton, encompasses all of these creative elements, and it is a metaphysical, mathematical equation for the essence of the universe. But of course, the Tetragrammaton also includes one more element, which brings us on to the next verse. And I saw another angel ascending from the east. This other angel is the all-important ether, the fifth element, or the quintessence. The Essene Gospel of Revelation calls it the angel of life. Now, ether is the intangible element that holds all the others together. The ancient Greeks considered this to be the space where the gods dwell, the seal of the living God. So the fact that the ether ascends from the east just shows its arrival into existence. Biblically, the east is always used to signify birth or conception. This is probably because the sun rises in the east. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay, so this verse shows that the quintessential element of ether has authority over the other creative elements and can intelligently control their course of action. Okay, so the breakdown for verses 1 and 2 is: after seeing the bodies and their abilities, I then saw the power of air, the power of water, the power of fire, and the power of earth in the north, south, east, and west, and the four forces that control them: temperature, air pressure, centripetal acceleration, and rotation, maintaining the livable atmosphere. Ether was revealed and had intelligent control over the other elements. Wow. Okay, moving on to Revelation 7 verses 3 and 4. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, so verse 3 is fairly straightforward. Not only are the elements able to preserve the literal earth, sea, and trees, but from previous chapters we know that within our bodies the elements are also preserving our heart, which is a reflection of the earth, our life energy, a reflection of the sea, and our nerves, which are a reflection of the trees. So until we have sealed the servants of God in their forehead. So what does it mean to seal the servants of God in their forehead? Well, the forehead is the seat of intellectual perception, the place where error thoughts or carnal thoughts are conceived and then crystallized. Therefore, it is these limited material perceptions that must be replaced with servants of our God. Servants of our God are the thoughts which are aligned to God's purpose. They're truth thoughts of unconditional love and limitless power created by our enhanceable and ever-evolving DNA. Physiologically, the servants also relate to the nerves that serve the 5 physical senses, which are the kings, and the nerve pathways which facilitate or serve them, of which there are 12 sets, which we will come to understand as the 12 tribes. By understanding the senses, the servants also fall into alignment. Okay, moving on to verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 104,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, now my book, The God Design, Secrets of the Mind, Body and Soul, covers genes and DNA in a little more depth, but for the sake of this study, the 144,000, let's look at some of the amazing parallels that can be drawn between the 144,000 biblical tribespeople and our bodies. Firstly, there are 144,000 DNA genes that make up the human body. These are made up of the aforementioned elements, beasts or angels. Angels in their positive aspect and beasts in their negative aspect. Once again, these elements are carbon or earth, hydrogen or water, oxygen or air, nitrogen or fire. And the infinite creative binding element of ether is, of course, positive, and therefore the fifth and most important angel. Secondly, there are said to be 144 infinite cells, known as AKENE cells, in the thymus gland behind the heart, which just so happens to be shaped like a pyramid. Now, the name AKENE comes from the ancient Lemurian name for God, AKENE, and it basically means essence or that which you truly are. Now, these infinite cells are so called because they don't abide by physical law, in that basically they don't die. By examining the electrons in these infinite cells, quantum scientists have validated the existence of God, spirit, or divine substance, whatever you want to call it, by proving that electrons pass through the core and create a self-replenishing infinity loop. The cells are shown to be divine, or basically self-existent. Wow. Okay, so back to the pyramid-shaped thymus gland. It's fascinating to know that the Great Pyramid of Giza has a resonant frequency of, you guessed it, 144 megahertz, which is a harmonic of the speed of light. 144 megahertz is often considered to be the wavelength of cosmic frequencies, DNA enhancement and healing. It's also important to note that the all-important thymus gland is situated at the heart center, or the sacred heart, or heart chakra, which is a junction between the electric and magnetic energies and the core of our individual bioelectric auras or torus fields. The sacred geometry of the heart is known as a chestahedron, which when rotating looks exactly like a bell. And that brings us on to the next amazing correlation. There are 72 golden bells and 72 pomegranates in the book of Exodus. 72 plus 72 equals 144. Golden bells represent communication with the Holy Spirit or divine substance. This, of course, has to do with the power of creation and sound vibration, sonoluminescence as well. After all, a bell is not even a bell until it rings or vibrates. And since the pomegranates are golden spheres bursting with seeds, they represent abundance, fruitfulness, the fruit of the tree of life, fertility and prosperity. Together, the bells are the male golden solar energy, and the pomegranates are the female lunar energy. The Plantagenets always liken pomegranates to the female influence in nature and the crescent moon. Now, in addition to this, there are 72,000 energetic pathways called nadis in the subtle body. These work similarly to the nerves in the physical body, but instead of carrying nerve fluid and cerebrospinal fluid, they carry prana and apana, which together are the divine substance or cosmic energy. Just like what the bells and pomegranates signify, when the prana, male energy, and apana, female energy, reunite in the Sushumna Nadi, the 72,000 nadis activate and double in power, 144,000, energizing and healing the entire body. We can also then see that when two people make love, their 72,000 individual nadis join to become 144,000. Thus, we could say that 144,000 is the number of xenogenesis, nuclear fusion, or creation. Now, there are many, many more significant sums and examples that can be given regarding the importance of 144,000, but I'm only going to mention one more before we go on to the next point. There are 144 petals in the representation of the brow chakra, which is the pituitary gland, and 1,000 petals represent the crown chakra or pineal gland. 144 times 1,000 is 144,000. So again, we see the union of male energy, pineal, and female energy, pituitary, magnifying one another and causing illumination. Looking now at the children from Israel, we can see from their etymological composition of the word Israel that these children are the produce of the moon, sun, and planetary forces, cosmic energy, that form DNA genes. Because from the word Israel, we can deduce the moon is the sun, Ra, and the planets El. Scientifically speaking, this is cosmic plasma. It is the subtlest form of matter which feeds the cells, RNA, DNA molecules, and eventually becomes consciousness. So the breakdown for verses 3 and 4 is: ether directs the elements to preserve the heart, life energy, and nerves until the seat of intellectual thoughts aligns to God's will. Sealed within the human body are 144,000 DNA genes produced from cosmic plasma. Okay, Revelation 7 verses 5 to 8. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Nephthalim were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zabulon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. Now, okay, I have grouped these verses together because they form a list of the 12 different tribes within the whole tribe of Israel. Now, the 12 tribes correlate with the 12 disciples, which in turn correspond with the body's nervous system. The solar plexus is known as the stomach brain, and it is here where the 12 branches or roots of the 12 cranial nerves connecting to the brain can be found. This is how the temple brain in our head is connected via the tree of life, nervous system, to the stomach brain. Thus, all of our thoughts and emotions are not only processed within our heads, but also within our stomach. Biblically, 12 is a very important number. It always represents completion, wholeness, and unity. Therefore, you might say that it is the number of God. And the number 1000 represents abundance or immensity. Therefore, when realizing that the 12 tribes of 12,000 represent our faculties, abilities, or potentials, if you like, we realize that we have been sealed with the potential to create perfection and abundance. So let's briefly look at each tribe and what it represents. So the tribe of Judah. This is our spiritual faculty. In Hebrew, the word Judah means praise Jehovah. Judah represents the spiritual capacity that grows within us due to prayer and praise. True prayer is high vibratory thanksgiving, and it works like a magnet, helping us to become adequate receivers of divine blessing and favour, which is why Judah is the Christ consciousness. Okay, number 2, the tribe of Reuben. This is our seeing faculty. As one of the 5 physical senses, sight is a gift. Through it, we are able to experience beauty and awe, but also we are able to avoid danger. Internally, sight is the same. Our ability to discern things is a faculty that can be nurtured and honed to help us realize our true potential. Okay, number 3, the tribe of Gad. This is our power faculty. In Hebrew, the word Gad means fortunate, good fortune, or abundance. But this is referring to the physical plane of life, not true spiritual expression. Tribe 4 is the tribe of Asher. This is our wisdom faculty. In Hebrew, Asher means straightforward or prosperous. And it is the trustworthiness that good, consistent character brings. It is the developing mind's ability to use hindsight and foresight, closely balanced with faith, in order to excel wisdom from within. Okay, so the 5th tribe is the tribe of Nephilim. And this is our central will, or our core beliefs faculty. This is how our spirit becomes intertwined with God's purpose. The more we set our hearts on God, the more our core beliefs evolve, and our motivation for love, peace, and unity to flood the nation just grows and grows. Okay, so the 6th tribe of Manasseh is our faculty for higher understanding or vision. In Hebrew, Manasseh means causes forgetfulness. Okay, so remembering things can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse. Because our memories are linked to our emotions, they can cause havoc in our lives. They can force us to remember the niggly details of something that upsets us, or they can stop us from remembering a certain person's name that we haven't seen for a while and we're now awkwardly stood face to face with. So vision comes from personal, honest reflection on these memories in order to understand the root cause of pain, neglect, or the like. It is the understanding or acceptance found in meditation that allows the residue of emotions and thus the poignancy of the memory to be purified, diluted and or completely washed away, both spiritually and physically, when CSF removes metabolic byproducts of thought. Okay, the seventh tribe is the tribe of Simeon. It's our hearing or obedience faculty. The name Simeon literally means hearing or obeying in Hebrew. Hearing in its highest form represents the part of us that not only listens for and accepts guidance from God, but also the expectance of it. Honing the hearing faculty makes us excellent receptors for divine knowledge and guidance. Okay, so the eighth tribe is Levi. This is our love faculty. In Hebrew, Levi means joining, uniting, or loving. The faculty of love is the uniting force of divine mind. There is still a caution to take, for whatever we fix our eyes upon in love joins or unifies with our consciousness, and without balance and objectivity within the other faculties, love can become confused with possession or obsession. Okay, the ninth tribe is Issachar. This is our zeal or our determination faculty. Our zeal gives us enthusiasm, and these are gifts as long as they're being used with the correct motivation or intention of love and purpose in God or goodness, and not for our own selfish purposes such as revenge or greed. The 10th tribe is the tribe of Zebulon. This is the order faculty. So the word Zebulon means habitation or dwelling in Hebrew. This is the faculty or state of mind that is allowing spirit to guide us. Spirit is dwelling or living within the mind, and thus the divine mind is continuously bringing order to our thoughts and therefore our lives. The 11th tribe, the tribe of Joseph. This is our imagination faculty. The word Joseph means he whom Jehovah, Yahweh, YH, WH, tetragrammaton, will add to in Hebrew. This means God is adding perfection to us. This means that through our imagination, our character improves along all lines, and there is an increase of vitality and substance within our human organism. And the final tribe, the tribe of Benjamin, is our faith faculty. The faith faculty is how we access our power in other faculties, because faith moves us to work, it moves us to pray, it moves us to try. Faith is the vision that helps us overcome carnal thoughts. Okay, now these verses explain how man has been created with and possesses all of these faculties or potentials within the I am. In terms of the macrocosm, the tribes also represent the stellar influence or astral charge that we receive from each of the zodiacal signs. Judah is Leo, Reuben is Pisces, Gad is Scorpio, Asher is Virgo, Nephilim is Aquarius, Manasseh is Libra, Simeon is Capricorn, Levi is Gemini, Issachar is Taurus, Zebulon is Cancer, Joseph is Sagittarius, and Benjamin is Aries. Now, again, there are other parallels that can be drawn between the tribes and other paradigms and teachings, but for now, I'd just like to mention one more which I find really fascinating, and that is that each of the tribes of Israel is represented by a specific gemstone. Now, the gemstones were embedded in the breastplate of judgment, which was worn by Aaron. Aaron was the high priest. Now, when placed in the order shown here, they represent the spectrum of white light. And this image clearly shows our potential to charge our faculties and obtain Christ consciousness. Okay, so the breakdown for verses 5 to 8 is the faculties of spirituality: seeing, power, wisdom, will, vision, obedience, love, zeal, order, imagination, and faith are within the human organism in the perfect and abundant amount. Great, so let's move on to verses 9 and 10. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in thy hand, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to God, our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Okay, so most of the symbols within these verses have already been described in the video for chapter 5. So let's just have a quick recap. Of all the nations, this is again the 12 faculties of divine mind, the 12 tribes of Israel. Every kindred, this is every pure emotion. People is every pure thought. Tongues is every pure, powerful word. Throne is the seat of consciousness, physically understood as the nervous system and the spine, and therefore the brain. The Lamb is the lamp or thalamus. White robes, that's the purified aura, the raiment, the high vibratory frequency. Palms are symbolic of triumph and glory. And in verse 10, salvation to our God means the restitution of man to his spiritual birthright, a regaining of consciousness to possess his God-given attributes. Salvation frees us from all limitations. Now, the Metaphysical Dictionary at Truth Unity says, the belief that Jesus, in an outer way, atoned for our sins is not salvation. Salvation is based solely on an inner overcoming, a changing consciousness. It is a cleansing of the mind through Christ from thoughts of evil. So the breakdown for verses 9 to 10 is, afterwards I saw the abundance of the faculties of divine mind, every pure emotion, every pure thought, and every pure word, ready at the seat of consciousness near the white lamp of the thalamus, purified and triumphant, and called to God, saying, I am restored to my spiritual birthright. Okay, verses 11 and 12. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders and the 4 beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honour and power and might be unto our God forever and ever. Amen. Okay, again, these verses have largely been addressed in previous chapters, so we won't spend time going over them in detail, but we will quickly recap on each point. Okay, angels round the throne. Again, this is the power of air, the power of water, the power of fire, the power of earth, and of course, the power of ether at the seat of consciousness, the throne. and about the elders. Now in chapter 4 we saw how the elders are the 12 powers of man functioning in a way that has doubled their effectiveness. The 12 powers are also seen as the 12 disciples and the 12 microcosmic sets of cranial nerves which are connected to the solar plexus. Enlightenment activates and doubles their potential for carrying the all-important solar energy. Okay, so the 4 beasts. So now we have covered the beasts in a lot of depth, but it is worth noting here how they correlate with and can interchange with the first 4 angels. So let's have a look at the table that shows the beasts and their multiple layers of significance. I also find it fascinating that in the Essene Gospel of Revelation, written hundreds of years earlier than the King James Version, there is no mention whatsoever of 4 individual beasts. Instead, there is only one beast whom people are said to be guilty of worshipping. Because this is the case, I would like to suggest that the 4 beasts in the King James Version represent the negative aspects of the creative elements within man that lead us into self-destruction, and that the first 4 angels are the positive aspect of the creative elements within man that lead us to glory. Now, since verse 12 is self-explanatory, we will go straight to the breakdown for verses 11 and 12. The angel of air, the angel of water, the angel of fire, the angel of earth, and the angel of ether were at the seat of consciousness, surrounded by the optimized cranial nerves and the negative aspect of the creative elements surrendered to the creator of the universe, saying, "It is done." Spiritual power, divine unity, good judgment and intuition, gratitude, limitless substance and strength are in God eternally. Amen. Okay, so verses 13 and 14 now. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Now these verses are fairly straightforward, being that each point has already been explained. So again, we will go straight to the breakdown. One of the optimized cranial nerves made me think, what are these cleansed auras, and how did they come to be? And I thought to myself, I already know this. These are the parts of me that have been tried, tested, and processed into purity by the spiritual substance of the lamp of God in the thalamus. Okay, so Revelation 7 verses 15 and 17. Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb, which is in the midst of the throne, shall feed them, and shall lead them into living fountains of waters, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Okay, once again, I think we could go straight to the breakdown. They are now at the seat of consciousness and follow the will of God's love and limitless power continually in their bodies, and God's glory is entwined in them. They shall never be hungry, they shall never be thirsty, and they shall never be exhausted. For the lamp of God at the seat of consciousness will feed them and spiritualize their vital fluids, eliminating all of their sorrows. Okay, so the conclusion and full breakdown for Revelation 7 is: after seeing the bodies and their abilities, I then saw the power of air, the power of water, the power of fire, and the power of earth in the north, south, east, and west, and the four forces that control them: temperature, air pressure, centripetal acceleration, and rotation, maintaining the livable atmosphere. Ether was revealed and had intelligent control over the other elements. Ether directs the elements to preserve the heart, life energy, and nerves until the seat of intellectual thoughts aligns to God's will. Sealed within the human body are 144,000 DNA genes produced from cosmic plasma. The faculties of spirituality, seeing, power, wisdom, will, vision, obedience, love, zeal, order, imagination, and faith are within the human organism in the perfect and abundant amount. Afterwards I saw the abundance of the faculties of divine mind, every pure emotion, every pure thought, and every pure word ready at the seat of consciousness near the white lamp of the thalamus, purified and triumphant. All called to God, saying, I am restored to my spiritual birthright. The angel of air, the angel of water, the angel of fire, the angel of earth, and the angel of ether were at the seat of consciousness, surrounded by the optimized cranial nerves. And the negative aspect of the creative elements surrendered to the creator of the universe, saying, it is done. Spiritual power, divine unity, good judgment, intuition, gratitude, limitless substance, and strength are in God eternally. Amen. One of the optimized cranial nerves made me think, what are these cleansed auras, and how did they come to be? And I thought to myself, I already know this. These are the parts of me that have been tried, tested, and processed into purity by the spiritual substance of the lamp of God in the thalamus. They are now at the seat of consciousness and follow the will of God's love and limitless power continually in their bodies, and God's glory is entwined in them. They shall never be hungry, they shall never be thirsty, and they shall never be exhausted. For the lamp of God at the seat of consciousness will feed them and spiritualize their vital fluids, eliminating all of their sorrows. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave your comments, likes, dislikes, subscribe to my channel. The next video will be coming as soon as possible. Thank you very much to my patrons, especially Cindy, Jewel and Christopher Hill, for your generous support. I'm so grateful to you guys. Here are all the links to my social media, my page on Patreon, to buy my book, The God Design, Secrets of the Mind, Body and Soul, which does describe both the scientific, physical and also the spiritual elements that come together to create the experience that we now know as the sacred secretion. I also have a yoga app called Freedom Yoga. You can look for it on the App Store or the Play Store. Just type in Freedom Yoga, Seek Vision. And there is a free version and a pro version available. Thanks again. I wish you all peace, light, love, joy, abundance in your lives.